Welcome back to Network Africa. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, is still standing by to talk more about happenings at the HIV/AIDS conference. Now, Betty, what's happening in South Africa, especially with the fact that that country has a high rate of HIV infection?
South Africa is one of the best stories on the African continent because where they're coming from. Remember, this conference was held in Durban, 16 years ago, where even the government was in denial. There was a huge debate in the country. But today, compared to other African countries, they have the biggest treatment program actually in the world. You know, they've recognized their problem and they've made efforts to improve that. Their mother-to-child transmission has tremendously reduced to from about 60% to about 5%, and they're still working. They're investing in research and enlightenment as well. So they're actually an outstanding story on the continent. Remember, we had the Nkosi Johnson who addressed the conference, and Mandela as well, who said, look, it's in our hands to ensure an AIDS-free generation. So they put their money and their resources, you know, where this is concerned, and they've made tremendous progress, and they're not sitting idle.
Oh, with the Nigerian being among those who have actually won this grant, does that in any way shift focus on Nigeria?
Nigeria has made progress, but there are so many issues affecting Nigeria regarding this. We have the issue of donor funding that I talked about is affecting some of the progress that Nigeria has made. And the mother-to-child transmission, as you heard Dr. Ihakuse say, Nigeria has not improved so much, you know, as expected, given the fact that it's among the biggest or the richest, economically biggest country on the continent. But we have our issues. We have an issue. From what I noticed, there wasn't. NACA is here. The head of NACA is here, and I think one director. You have somebody from National Assembly, somebody from the State Assembly, but there's no cohesion. One of them actually admitted cohesion in even data collecting, agreeing on how many people are actually living with HIV/AIDS in Africa, as well as, you know, complementing one another, the various agencies and institutions charged with handling HIV and AIDS in the country. So cohesion and cooperation is still a huge problem, and that never helps. We don't have a very strong, I expected to see the minister here, but we understand some people from the health ministry came. But everybody somewhere brought in by NGOs. One of the Benue State, the wife of the Benue State governor was here, brought in by UNICEF. Some of the lawmakers, one or two, were brought in by an NGO. So how serious are we taking this issue? Cohesion is so important for us to make an adequate difference.
All right, thank you very much, Betty, for joining us on the program. Betty Dibia, our South Africa Chief Bureau. Well, moving on now, Jada Hani is one Egyptian lady who sure isn't afraid to try her hand on something new. Now, she has a degree in architecture, but is designing shoes besides her degree. Shoes that she hopes one day will be worn by celebrities.
Using the knowledge gained from her university degree in architecture, Jada Hani designs shoes that she hopes will one day be worn by international celebrities. The 26-year-old Egyptian studied footwear design at the London College of Fashion after graduating from the American University in Cairo in 2012. A switch from architecture to shoe design was a natural move for Hani, who finds that both disciplines have their similar features.
بس فالموضوع كبر في دماغي اكتر حاولت ان انا
The more I learnt about footwear design, the more I discovered that there isn't a big difference between architecture and footwear design. The whole idea is that one is done on a small scale, while the other is done on a large scale, buildings. But the design process is the same. It's that same idea of structure and weight. and whether something can withstand the weight or not, but on a smaller scale and using different materials.
structure والويت وده يستحمل لا ده ما يستحملش بس على سكيل اصغر وماتيريالز تانية.
Hani said her bespoke shoe collection was intended to attract major celebrities whose stylists look for original designs produced by underground artists. But her 2017 footwear collection was designed for commercial use. Having only just returned to Cairo, Hani is still exploring the Egyptian production scene from factories to workshop and is keen to keep production local.
ليه لا يعني احنا عندنا كل حاجه بجد الجلد اللي عندنا في مصر هو ده اللي بيتصدر للينيا بالي اللي في ايطاليا.
The leather we have in Egypt is what they export to Italy to Linea Pearl in Italy. Linea Pearl is the largest leather fair in the world, and I've discovered that this leather is not Italian. It's imported from Egypt. The plastic and injection and all of that is also done in Egypt. We have shoemakers in Egypt whose experience and skills are like those of anyone else abroad. So I thought, if something is available here and is cheaper to an extent, why not produce it in Egypt? Especially as traveling costs a lot. You have to pay for tickets and there are lots of expenses. So I'm trying as much as I can to have everything produced in Egypt.
انا بحاول على قد ما اقدر كل حاجه تبقى في مصر وتبقاش يعني حاجه صناعه مصريه.
Hani uses materials like leather, stainless steel, screws, nuts and bolts to create her futuristic collection. She currently works from home, but is setting up a studio that she hopes to move to by the end of this summer. Hani dreams to be able to one day take part in London and New York fashion weeks and for her shoes to be featured in international fashion magazines.
And that's our package today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.